Lake Bowen Baptist Church exists to deliver the gospel, disciple the Christian, and deploy the Christ follower. We've carried out this mission here at 404 Sugar Ridge Road since 2002. The story of our church began at the turn of the 19th century, just a few miles from our current location, when a service was held in a two-room schoolhouse in the Rock Hill farming community. This would later become Rock Hill Baptist Church on October 27, 1922. With 22 charter members, 2 of whom were ancestors of our senior pastor, Brad Atkins. Around the same time, they began working on the first dedicated space for Rock Hill, an 1,100 square foot, one-room church with a wood stove in the center to provide heat. The church saw growth in the 1930s, and were having 3 services a week. By 1942, Rock Hill had nearly 200 members. To make room, the original building was moved and raised to create a basement, expand the sanctuary, and brick the exterior. Baptisms were held at a nearby creek for many years until the construction of a new sanctuary was completed in 1954. Work on this addition was completed in stages as money was available, with the church borrowing a total of $10,000. Rock Hill continued to grow and was averaging 500 people each Sunday in the late 1980s. After adding a children's wing to the right of the original building, there was no more land to build on. Our church would need to relocate if we wanted to continue to grow and reach more people with the gospel. So in 1996, a study group called Focus 21 was created with the purpose of acquiring and building on new land. Group leaders were rejected on more than a dozen property inquiries, but God began revealing His plan in January of the year 2000. In a report from that month, Focus 21 shared with the church family, "We have prayed for almost 4 years that God would only open the doors He wanted us to enter. And we also prayed He would close every door that wasn't in His will for our church. When an option was removed, we thanked the Lord for an answered prayer. On the day that we received the final rejection on a piece of property we had inquired about, within the hour, we were contacted about a large tract of land which would be going on the market soon. That large tract of land is where we now come together each week to worship and grow in our faith. We met at our new property several times during construction for special services, where we prayed for God to bless the work being done and for the ministry that would soon begin at 404 Sugar Ridge Road. Our first service in the new building was held on March 3, 2002. We changed the church name to Lake Bowen Baptist Church at that time to reflect the new location. In the fall of 2016, our mortgage was paid off and the church became debt-free. This milestone, combined with steady church growth, allowed us to fully renovate our worship center in 2018. The construction of gallery seating resulted in a 25% increase in capacity, and improvements in lighting, sound, and projection helped create a more engaging worship environment. This $1.5 million project would be paid off just a year later.
And what I didn't tell you was that at 859, this church became debt-free because that family gave $1.8 million to Lake Bowen Baptist Church, and we are debt-free today. Today.
Next came the expansion of our social hall. We modeled the renovation after the worship center and put the space to good use during COVID lockdown, recording our services here so that we could come together as a church online during that difficult time. Now we find ourselves in the midst of our biggest project since becoming Lake Bowen Baptist Church, with the construction of dedicated kids and student buildings. It's an exciting time in the life of our church, a time that our original charter members in 1922 could not have possibly imagined. All they knew was that God had called them to start a church, and they stepped out in faith to do it. What a great reminder that God does not always show us the end result of our obedience. We simply need to listen to His voice and trust Him with the future.